Hi, I'm Jacqueline Snyder, and this is the Product Boss Podcast. I've helped launch and grow thousands of product-based businesses, even one of my own. And over the last 20 years, I've seen behind the scenes of businesses just like yours. Whether they are makers, manufacturers, artists, or food and beverage businesses, I have spent so many hours studying it all. I've discovered what makes them successful, what mistakes they could have avoided, how did they turn their ideas into a successful business, and what are the strategies that they have used to make more sales and be discovered by more customers. And this is what this show is all about. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to become $1 million product boss, I'm here to give you the permission to chase your dreams, no matter how big or small. All you need is the right mindset, a little courage, strategy, and support, and you too can be the next $1 million product boss. Let's do this. Hey, Product Boss. Welcome back to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I am your host, Jacqueline Snyder. I'm so glad to be with you today. Now, listen, this is one of our special episodes, and I'm going to call them the Fix episodes because I want them to be short, potent, and really built to help you get unstuck fast. So this is for you if you feel like your physical product-based business, that your sales feel unpredictable. Maybe your energy is low and you're wondering what else can you do to make this work. And if that feels like you, then my friends, this one is for you. So, I just got done last week with a ton of coaching calls, whether they were for my programs, because we have a lot of live components and live coaching in my programs, or I was on with masterminders, people in my program called Jacqueline's Insiders. I mean, just lots and lots and lots of one-on-ones. And I was really able to kind of dig in and see a pattern. It's this pattern that I'm starting to see come up more and more and more, especially for product-based business owners. And, I have coached thousands of you over the last 20 years. And if you feel like this is you, if this episode kind of goes like, oh, that's me, I just need you to know you're not alone. Okay. Because I see you. My friend, you are working hard. I see you. You're creating, you are posting, you have your Shopify site set up maybe, or you're on Etsy, or you're hauling your goods to markets. You're getting listed on Fair. You're trying to sell wholesale, right? I know that you're trying to do all the things to sell consistently. But I also know that one week you might feel like you're getting a handful of orders and the next one feels like crickets, right? That inconsistency is the thing that makes you go, oh my goodness, is this the thing that, is it working? Is it finally working? Or is it crashing and burning? And am I going to have to shut the doors? And I'm going to tell you real fast. I work with multi-million-dollar product-based business owners, and there are some weeks and there are some months that feel off and they feel the same way. So I don't want you to feel alone in this, whether you're just starting out, whether you made a few $100s, a few $1,000s, your $10,000 a month company, your $100,000 a month company, $500,000 a month. I don't care what the number is. There are times where things feel funky and you are not sure. You're just not sure. So what do? A lot of times, business owners, founders, people who are kind of still holding so much of the responsibility in their businesses, they start to scramble. They start to look around and be like, what do I have to sell? Can I post more? Maybe I need to make more, right? You tweak your prices. You're like, I'm going to put this thing on sale, or I'm going to lower the price, or you launch new products. I know what to do. They don't want this, so I'm going to offer this, right? Or you wake up one day and you feel inspired and you're like, because you're a maker, you could just make it. But here's the deal. And you're probably like, yeah, this is accurate. Nothing really changes, right? Maybe sometimes there's a little hit of cash influx. I have a student that I'm thinking about specifically that, she sells a certain product, but she can make these wooden products at home. She has $1 million Etsy-based business, but we all know that Etsy right now is feeling a little cuckoo crazy, right? The sales are just not coming in. And so she's just like, well, if I just make something else, if I make something else. But the thing is that's not the way. Right. And the other thing that I think people think is like, I got to discount it. Well, if I just put it on sale, they'll buy it. Sure. I think putting things on sale, especially, bigger brands also, they'll put things on sale to clear through inventory. But we're not putting things on sale to just initiate sales. Sales are meant to get us back on the black. Sales are meant to clear through inventory that we need to turn back into cash flow. They're not meant to just get us sales. And so when you do all of these things and you start to scramble and you do all the things and more and more and more and more, I'll bet you notice that truthfully in the long haul, nothing changes. Your sales still stay inconsistent. You start to think, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not a business owner. Maybe I should have gone to business school. Maybe I need a partner. Maybe I don't know enough. Or maybe it's the algorithm. Darn you, Mark Zuckerberg, right? That algorithm always working against us. Or maybe that self-doubt creeps in and you're just like, I'm not cut out for this. And if you've had these thoughts, I also want to tell you, it's totally normal at all levels. It's totally normal. You can have a $10 million business and be like, I'm not cut out for this. It's new. You're learning. We're entrepreneurs, right? There's going to be these highs and these lows. It's like a friggin' roller coaster that's fun. And then sometimes you're like, can I get off? But here's the thing, and this is what I want you to hear, and I want you to hear me clearly. My friend, it's not your effort. Because if it was your effort, most of us would be gazillionaires at this point, right? Oh my God, if our effort equaled the revenue brought in, we would be so wealthy. Like Elon Musk, space shuttles to the outer planets, wealthy. But it's not. It's not our effort. It's not your effort. It's usually, and what I've seen from all this coaching, it's usually your approach. So let's dig into this, okay? So here's the truth. And here's the truth that changed everything for my students, everything for my clients. When they started to realize sure, we could fix these things. Like, yeah, we could get better at marketing. We could get better at how it's made, better at packaging, all the things. But a lot of times, and that all is stuff that we want to get better at. But a lot of times it's not necessarily the marketing problem. And you know this, I've proved this over and over and over because I teach you that you can grow these businesses without ads and without an audience. But really what the biggest problem is that you have a misalignment problem. A misalignment problem. Because most product-based business owners are focusing on the wrong things, right? I've seen this, and it's not your fault, especially if you're coming off of Etsy, because what typically happens is business owners are focused on what they are making instead of who they're making it for. And I get it. Listen, I'm a fashion designer by trade, by heart, and I'm like, oh, that thing's pretty. But to put it on someone's body, right? The human that's going to wear it, the deal here is like, I really have to think, and this is something you have to think is, who is this thing for? Why do they need it? It can't just be because you're creative and you went to like a craft store and you saw flowers and you're like, I'm going to make a wreath. That's okay. But we got to start to draw the line between hobby and entrepreneurial endeavors. And I love the word entrepreneur. I haven't used it in so long because, when we came up with the name of the product Boss was very trendy. I'm friends with Natalie Ellis at Boss Babe, right? There's these girls that have this company called Boss Project that have been on the podcast. Like there's the word boss, and that's fine because boss is like you get to be the boss of your own business. You get to be the boss of your own time, right? You get to kind of say what you want to happen. But do you want to know what we all truly are? We're entrepreneurs. We are people with endless ideas, with 1 million tabs open in our brains, excitement, ideas, follow through, movement. The difference between everyone else with their ideas and us, what makes us entrepreneurs is we actually go out and do something about it, these ideas, right? But the other side of this is when you get, especially us as designers and creatives and makers and artists and bakers and food people and people who are inventive and just make, whether you're making or manufacturing or you're sourcing, we're attracted to stuff, right? We have a good sense of style, a good eye, and we think we like the product. But I think what you don't realize is there's something innate in you that does understand that invisible bridge between your product and the customer. I think that a lot of you, and I'll say the same for me, we may not be able to say it. I might not be able to say, my ideal customer is Emily and she's 28 years old and she lives in Brooklyn and right? But we feel it. We feel like we know who this is meant for. We feel like we know that this customer is out there. And if you don't, then this is your work. And if you do, then this is your work. Because when you start to figure out who this is for and you've got the feeling of it, you want to kind of write it down. You want to understand who you're making this for. You want to have some sort of visual or identity to this person so that you can be like, would Emily want this? And I know this, I get it, is that I know your energy goes into your product, right? The fun part about our products, the most boring part is, at least for me, having the same thing over and over and over, which is why I think I went into fashion, because going into fashion was like, what's happening with the trends? What are the collections? Just there were trends and things would constantly change over. But the other side of this is sometimes we're just buffering, right? We make new scents, but we didn't need to have new scents. We have new styles, but we didn't really need new styles. Maybe you weren't selling as many as you should have. So why are we making more styles, right? These new listings, these new SKUs. But the thing that is it boring? I don't think it's boring because I'm a people person and I make product as a service. And I say that because even when I don't know if you all know this, but I worked in bridal for 5 years. I worked in a custom bridal gown store in Beverly Hills for 5 years while I went through college and then after. And I had brides and they'd walk in and I'd take them through all of the dresses and I'm short. I don't think you all realize how short I am. When people meet me in person, they're like, huh, okay. So I'm 5'3", and wedding gowns are quite long. And I got to tell you how high I had to hold my hand to like my arm up in the air, holding all these gowns that were 10, 15 pounds each, putting them in the dressing room with the person and paying attention to what the bride wanted. This is usually the most expensive product that she had ever bought, right? Her wedding gown. And it was one of the most important things to her. And it was ceremonial to be in that space. And there might be a mother or a mother-in-law. Oh, all the stories I could tell you. If any of you come out of bridal, you all know, right? Or a bunch of friends or no friends. And the vulnerability of being in a room with a woman who wants to look the most beautiful that she's ever looked, spending the most money that she will ever spend, and she gets in there and she gets in, and the other side of this is, and this might have happened for you, we grow up thinking of what our dress would look like. And then we finally try it on. It's like, huh, maybe that isn't the dress for me. So there's all of these things happening in this dressing room. And what I would look at is I would look at her. I would look at her face. I would see the interactions between her and the mother, the bride that was the nightmare, and the mother, the bride that was awesome, and the friends that were too involved in chatting, and nobody was paying attention to her, or everybody was paying attention to her. And it was her. The clothes, the gowns, the wedding dresses were what fit her, what made her smile, what lit her up, what was the thing that solved the problem, which was her dream came true when she saw herself in that gown. Everything she thought of her own wedding. So why I say this and why I share that visual and this experience of me in these rooms with these women spending $10,000 on gowns, but also feeling so incredibly vulnerable or special or whatever, is that I can have all the dresses there, all the styles, all the colors. But what I really needed to understand when they came in, when I had them do their intake form, when I sat and talked with them for a second while I paid attention to the people around them, was her. So are you putting your focus, are you spending the time and your energy on understanding who you're making your product for? You're hearing me say this several times. It won't be every episode. But right now, I'm really wanting to hammer this home. It is not something that we've talked about over and over and over on the podcast. And the fix is the overall fix, the thing that I teach in the product biz fix, and really at the core, if I think about myself as an actual brand strategist, which is actually what I am, I understand the unique selling propositions and I understand how to connect the product market fit, right? How does this product exist in the market and how does it make sense to your ideal customer? That's the fix. Everything else becomes easy. If you think about it as a domino, my son will like set up dominoes, they're all lined up and it's like the little path. And, once he sets it all up, then he tips over the first one. And if you tip over the first one and it's positioned right, you put it in the right place, that domino effect where all the other dominoes will fall. That's what I want you to think about when you start to truly understand your customer. Everything else will work. You'll know where they are buying, where they're showing up, right? Maybe they're not at the farmer's market down the street from your house. You'll know where they shop, what they want, how much they're willing to spend, what their expectations are in a brand and packaging and the marketing messaging that's getting sent to them, and even the product that's being created. And the price. The price is so important. So when you do that, that's the fix. That's the one main domino that pushes it all, the rest down. And I need to keep reminding you of this because I know that there's coaches out there that are like, make more, do more, make more. I want to find the easiest way possible. I believe in hard work. If you know me, and lately, this is thanks to fashion school, we'd have one all-nighter once a week. I don't know how I've continued this, but when I have deadlines, I stay up late. I'm a night owl. I work through the night. I'm never going to say don't work. And especially creative businesses, especially if you're a maker or designer or creative, that stuff takes time. That is not a solve a math problem and you're done. So I get that there's the work that goes into it, but it's not the doing more that's stubborn. It's not that, oh, I should just, I'm not selling these frames, so I'm going to start selling these socks. I don't know. I'm going to make this thing over here. I'm going to make this thing because someone walked over to me and said, you know what you should do? And they should all over you. It actually comes, the fix, the getting from stuck to selling is that you do the right things for the right person. When you switch from product centered, when you're always thinking about the product, and you start to think customer centered, everything changes. So I want to give you a really simple shift that you can apply today. And it's something I call the 3-lens fix. So when you're looking at your business, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. We're going to look through 3 different lenses. So the first question is would my customer understand what this is in 3 seconds? If they landed on your website, on your web page, would they understand? If they walked up to you at an in-person market and they were at your booth, would they understand? If you popped up on social, if they read your product title, if they saw your offer, your photos, does all of this make it so blindingly clear who this is for and why they need it that your ideal customer sees it and like, ooh, tell me more. And somebody who's not your ideal customer is like, oh, okay, cute. Click, right? My friends, clarity sells. Clarity sells. And when they're confused, they scroll. Clarity sells and confusion scrolls. So the next question I want you to ask yourself, the second lens I want you to look through is, would my customer care about this? So on a bunch of these calls, I've had these live workshops and boot camps, and I'll ask people what they have. And like, well, I make natural ingredient soaps that I'm not doing synthetic scents, and they're natural ingredients and they're hand poured and they're made by me in my house. And it's like, okay, cool. And does your customer care? They care down the road. But when we went back to that dating analogy, the first thing is, how does it look? And then they engage with the product in some sort of way. And then they start to discover what else is there, whether it's a surprise and delight that they had no idea about, or something that like when they open it up and they discovered something, or something that they can blatantly see. Do they care? And when I tell you this, you know what they care about? They care about themselves. They don't really care about your story. Knowing about your story will make them feel better, but they care about how they feel when they wear it, how they feel when they taste it or smell it, or they engage with it. That's what they care about. They care about themselves and how they feel, and that's okay. So you got to ask yourself, because they're not going to buy based on, well, it's hand poured soap. Okay, that's okay. Great. I get it. That's why we're at this market. But what do they actually care about? They care about the status. They care about the way it makes them feel when interacting with the product, that they're seeing that they had a problem to solve. I ran out of soap and I needed more soap, right? So I want you to think about this. Like, are you actually solving a problem? Are you actively solving a problem? Or are you just making something that you love that you hope someone else will buy it? Because like I said, customers don't really want your product. I mean, they do, but you know why they want it? You know what makes it the thing that they think about? Because it's the result of how they feel when they use your product. when they wear your product, when they taste your product, when they smell your product. They want the feeling and the result that your product gives them. I hope that this is landing for you. And then the third question, that third lens question would my customers choose this over my competition? Right? Would my customer choose this over other options out there? Competition. Is your product positioned as the best choice for your ideal customer? Or is it just another candle brand, tea company, sticker, piece of jewelry company, stationery? Is it just another? So this is where truthfully digging deep into understanding your brand, building a better brand. The other part is the psychology behind pricing. Some of you know how to price. You're in my other programs. You have our cost sheets and you're working things out. That's actually another call I had today was actually all about pricing. It was the second week of our sales accelerator. And there are still questions of confusion, not even how to use the pricing sheet, but is this possible? Have I hit the top of the market? Can I go lower? We get so worried about the numbers. Sure, the numbers make a lot of sense, right? The numbers are important. But when you can really think about where your brand meets your pricing, meets your strategy in that product, then it's not just what you're selling. It's how you're presenting it. People are buying the brand, they're not buying the product. So I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about all of your products. And you might want to take your best-selling product or your product that you're known for, and you might just run it through those questions, those 3 questions. And what are those? It's, would my customer understand this in 3 seconds? Would my customer care about this? And would my customer choose this over the competition? Now, if this episode hits you and you're like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I've been doing and how I've been feeling, and it just resonates so deeply, then I want to personally invite you to go a little bit deeper with me, not a little, a lot bit deeper with me inside of a brand new workshop. This brand new workshop is going to be so good. It's going to be called From Stuck to Sold. And in it, I'm going to show you some core business fixes. We're actually going to work through a section of your business inside of this live workshop so that what I want to show you is that in a day, we can make some significant fixes to your business. And the ones I'm teaching in here are very specific to this, that in a day, you will start to see transformation. Your business will start to feel like you're unlocking the lock that's been preventing you from consistent sales. And we're going to go deeper and we're going to do it together because I want you to understand your customer and the connection with your customer. I want you to understand where you're selling. Why? Why is it not working? Why is it not working the way you want it to work? Why not? And how do we get it going again or going in the first place? And finally, what are we selling? Why this? Why now? How much is it? These are the things that we really have to unlock. And if this sounds like it's the unlock you've been waiting for, and you might be thinking, oh, this feels a little foundational, I've done it. You haven't. And also, even if you have, we come back to this every, I would say 3 years. A lot can happen in 3 years. 1 year, you might still be shifting energies and shifting focus, but by the 3rd year, you should have some pretty great data. And knowing that, you might say, all right, I figured this out. I'm feeling good. Now what? How do I do this? How do I fix this? So at the end of this workshop, you're going to walk away with clarity and relief and real pain solved and a plan, right? This idea and understanding of I got to get under the hood of my company and this is what I need to fix. So if you're like, yes, I'd love to attend the From Stuck to Sold workshop, all you have to do is go to theproductboss.com/stuck, theproductboss.com/stuck. Now, this is a paid workshop. It's going to be 2 hours. It's going to be $24. Okay. So for $24, let's spend 2 hours together and really dig in and understand why it's stuck and how we're going to start to fix it. And I'm charging because the value is there. It is going to be so good. I have been working on it for weeks. It's going to be so good. You're going to get unstuck. And also, when you pay attention because there's so many people that just sign up for workshops, sign up for challenges, and they don't show up. And the thing that I'm here to do for you now, okay, the thing that I'm going to call you in on in 2025 is I'm not going to stand for you to keep letting yourself down, right? I want you to succeed. I want to encourage you and root for you. And I believe in you. And sometimes it might be a little tough love. Sometimes it's paying that trainer so you show up to the gym, right? That accountability. Who do you need to hold you accountable? Because if we don't, and we continue to let ourselves down and we make these promises and we break them and we sign up for free trainings and we don't show up to them, and it's like, we're not going to get anywhere. So I want people who are serious. I want entrepreneurs that are serious. Go to theproductboss.com/stuck. Okay. You're serious because you were kind of done feeling this way. Whatever level you're at, you're just done feeling stuck. And you're like, I want the unlock. I want to know, what are we going to do? And let's go. That's what I want for you. I want to call you in and call you forward to the dreams and the things that I know are on your heart. I hear you. I see you. I pay attention in the comments and in the groups that I host and have and what I see. And we're going to do the work and we're going to do the work together. But I do make things easy. I make them easy to understand, easy to implement. I'm all about the easy button. Let's not overcomplicate it. I do not like a spreadsheet. So let's just go. Let's just do it. Might be messy, right? We're going to do it. We're going to do it anyways because it's better done than perfect. And this is what I kind of want to wrap it with, is that I want to remind you that your business does not need to be more complicated. It needs to be more aligned with your vision. And sometimes one small fix will unlock a whole new level for you and your business. So use these 3 questions we talked about through this lens and run one of your top products, your best-selling product, through these questions. And you'll really be able to start to see where you're at. And if you want to go deeper with me, please come join me. Okay. Sign up for this training. It's an amazing 2-hour workshop. And I want to help you get from stuck to sold. And we're going to have 2 times for you. 2 times. There are different times of the day and they're 2 different weeks. And I'm doing it because I want to make sure that you can get access to this. This is accessible. My friends, we are going into another section of the year. There's another shift coming. Summer is like a new year, and there's things that happen and buying behaviors happen and things change. So let's friggin' go. Let's do this together. Let's get prepped together. And we're going to do this. And so I hope to see you inside that workshop. I hope this episode was everything you needed today. Let me know over on Instagram at The Product Boss. Follow us over there and send me a DM. Let me know. I want to hear from you. And make sure you're following the show. All right, my friends, I'll see you next time.